Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and today we're going to be unboxing March 2026 Yarnable. So if you are not familiar with Yarnable, I did do an entire series, 3 months, where we did an unboxing, made projects. This is one of the projects from where I reviewed the subscription box, and I give my thoughts and feelings on how I feel about the overall value of the subscription box. So I'm just going to say it's been a couple of years since I reviewed them. I'm still getting them monthly. I am sure you can probably figure out how I feel about my Yarnable. So Yarnable is Cheryl Ham's, Yarnable is the subscription box to Hypnotic Yarn. Hypnotic Yarn is owned by Cheryl Ham. Beautiful yarns every single month. You're always guaranteed to get something different and unexpected. There are some dyers that, they've got their color palette and that's kind of what they work within. Cheryl, nothing has been bad. Everything has been amazing that we have gotten with our Yarnables, but you never know what you're going to get. Are you going to get a warm tone? Are you going to get a tonal? Are you going to get a beautiful variegated? Her yarns also crochet up just as nicely as they knit up. So wonderful, wonderful, wonderful yarn to have. If you're not familiar with my unboxing of these, at the end, after we go through everything I get in my box, I will do pairings. This month, we're doing something a little bit different with the pairings, but we'll talk about that here at the end. I get the single skein with extras. There are multiple different varieties of the subscription box, though. You can get a just yarn only subscription box, yarn deluxe, which is the yarn, the main skein plus a coordinating mini to go with it. You can do yarns plus extras. You can do more than one skein with your subscription box. There are so many different options. Right now, they are not open, but I do have a link in the subscription box down below if you're interested in just checking out, looking around, seeing what's available. I think the link is a good link. We have had some issues where the link has been changed and I'm not getting notified that there is a change to my affiliate link down there. So, but it is an affiliate link. Go check it out. Also, I don't know what's in the shop currently for Hypnotic, but there do tend to be extra subscription boxes, extra yarn from subscription boxes, plus just the beautiful yarn that they dye over there. Cheryl and her team are phenomenal, wonderful to work with, and I'm just very pleased overall. So let's dive in with our box for the month. So first off, we did get a giant tote bag here. It says life is better when you're camping. So I think we can see where our theme might be going. I did forget to look at the insert. We get those emailed now. They don't come in the packages anymore. So I did forget to take a look there. There's generally like a discount code, a free pattern code, something like that in your insert as well that you get every month. Then we also have our little zipper notion bag, and we've gotten one of my favorite non-crafting items this month. I think this is either second or third time now where in our Yarnable we have gotten a Swedish dishcloth. I personally love these. I think these are one of the greatest home things to keep on hand. They machine wash fantastically. I let mine air dry. I go through these like nobody's business. I have one for like bathroom cleaning. I keep a stack of them for cleaning like the countertops and, especially with the holidays. If you're new to my channel, I have 4 stepsons. 2 are married with 2 children of their own. So when we do family meals over here, it's a lot of people that are here. And that's assuming like nobody from my side of the family's here, no family friends are in town, or like a brother-in-law or something, isn't showing up, or a cousin. Like, just our core family is a large family. So I do a lot of the cooking and I tend to clean as I go, and having a huge stack of these on hand is just so easy. And then when you go to clean up from everything, one of these damp, it's just textured enough to be a scrubby. but not so textured it's going to scratch like your glass or aluminum or stainless surfaces and stuff. I love them. But anyway, my favorite non-yarny extra that we have gotten with Yarnable, the Swedish dishcloth. We also have one of the cute little markers. We've got our little theme here, and I do love the bus is in theme. Our little camper is in theme here. And finally, the other thing we have this month is our yarn. And I have to say, so the name of it is Happy Camper. This is definitely, okay, so it is Happy Camper themed. It makes me think tie-dye, like that's what my brain screams. But it's also very distinctly somehow St. Patrick's Day as well. I know it's because of the more emeraldy Nile green there that it still screams St. Patrick's Day. We don't have a complete rainbow or anything in the background. I don't know why it's so holiday specific in my brain. But as soon as I saw that, like, no doubt in my mind, like, St. Patrick's Day was at least a consideration for the yarn this month. So I am going to gather up some yarns that I think pair well with this. Once again, as always, I'm just doing a very quick through my stuff. Like, I'm not spending time digging and pairing. This is just a quick. So I will be right back. Okay, you guys, I am so excited. So if you're not familiar with my pairing section, normally what I do is I just go to my Yarnable previous months and make pairings out of our previous months. I did do that, but since this is our only subscription box and this started pairing the Yarnables and the ALCs together, I did decide to go ahead and go to my stash to find options. This time I just elected to go directly to my fingering weight because that is the weight that I get my subscription box in. You do have a choice of what weight yarn you have for the subscription box, but I just went for the fingering weight. Keep it simple, easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's also where I have my most variety of solids and variegateds and tonals of just like as a whole, because most of my single skeins I have one, but when it comes to things like worsted and DK, I tend to have multiples of the same color. So I have a little bit more variety out of my fingering weight stash, but we do have yarnable options as well as non-yarnable options here to pair with. So first off, here on my desk, I do have June 2025 Cue the Confetti. And that would be, 100% an acceptable option for this. I will not be doing that as I still have that set aside for another project with another yarn. I do like it with Avocado. This is from 2023, maybe. It works well. This is from 2025, July. This is Saltwater Taffy. And this is, it's a tonal. It's got a little bit of a beigey, a little bit of a bluey purple undertone to it. We have Love Language, which is from, I think, 2022, 2023, February. Like I said last month, I don't think we'd ever gotten a pink for Valentine's Day. It had all been purples or purple and pink. This is Guava Cream Macaron from April 2025. This pairs very nicely together, and it really illuminates the brights that we have, the bright pink, the bright orange, and that little bit of yellow. And it also helps pick up some of the kind of hidden corally tones that we see running in this yarn. We have Shenanigans, which is the March yarn from 2022, 2023. And it's just, a speckled base. That's a very easy matchy-matchy. The extra yarn that month was a green yarn, a bright green yarn, which would also, once again, look very good. It was very similar to like avocado. So if you wanted to take like avocado shenanigans, and even like I would say personally the guava cream, you could make a really nice pairing with that. Or you could bring in Born to Stand Out, would also go well with this as a group. This is from that same 2022-2023. So we have a lot of different options. A number of these would actually go very well together. I do like that with the avocado and the guava cream, but you can also go say love language and taffy. Or if you wanted to punch it up a little bit, love language and Born to Stand Out would be very nice in that combination. These would work really well in a fade, or if you were doing something like, one of the things I'm considering doing is jumping on that quilt, crochet quilt make along. It started in December and will end like this May. I can't remember. If I can find it, I'll put it up here. But I was thinking about doing that in fingering weight and maybe making a shawl out of the quilt blocks. Because if you've been here, you understand I do love me a shawl. I am fond of the shawls. So non-yarnable options that are easy, mainstay, quick to find. We have Cascade Heritage. And this is like bubblegum. This is color number 5613. And I really love the bubblegum color with this. Genuinely adore that. And you could also, once again, you know, Cascade Heritage with the love language. That works really, really well. Also from Cascade Heritage, we have this yellow. Now this is old, so I don't know if this is got the right color number, but this says 5644. And it's just a nice soft butter yellow. And I love how that just pulls out those brights, because the brights underneath just kind of phosphoresce through the depth of that green and the purple blue pooling areas we get. So when you have something yellow that can make those brights pop even more, I genuinely love that. And then once again, you could take that, pair it with the avocado, and just really play up those bright tones using this as some sort of mix-in option. Another thing that I love with these, I do have 3 strolls from Knit Picks. So this is Candy Pink, and that pulls out more of that corally tone there, but it's a nice, bright, warming contrast for those oranges and yellows hiding. And you can tell the difference. So this is Pucker, and that really brings out that bright pink and the coral, but it actually starts to mute some of those yellows in there, and it deepens the greens. Why this works, I don't know. I am not a color theorist. I am not an artist. I just kind of vaguely know what I think is pleasing to my eye. So this is Electric Blue Knit Pick Stroll, and this brings out the greens and the blues while muting the pinks and the yellows. And it doesn't directly match like where we kind of get the teal, where some of that blue, purple, green meet. But then if you bring all 3 of these together, it just totally brings everything together as a set somehow. So, you know, once again, there are just so many different ways you can play with this. You could do this as a shawl with, you know, something, you know, blending in. There are a number of different shawls that are designed to use a sock set. So if you get the sock set, I didn't check to see what she paired this with this month. So for all I know, she had already chosen one of these colors, or I just chose a whole bunch of random ones. I don't know, but you could easily, you know, do your main shawl and then start working in baby stripes with your solid, and then end with like a picot border, or, you know, if you're doing a crocheted shawl, like a pom-pom border or something, where you're really grounding this variegated with a solid and creating that super contrast to make everything coherent at the same time. Like contrast doesn't mean that it has to, you can use contrast to ground. It doesn't have to be contrast to you know, like black and white tend to things. But if you add, say, gray to yellow, the gray grounds yellows. Does that make sense at all? I don't know. I describe colors in weird ways. I also describe textures in weird ways. It's just how my brain processes the input of these things. But we do have a number of different yarns and things that do different things with this month's yarn. We have options from Yarnable as well as not from Yarnable. Just once again, 2 seconds looking at my stash. This is what goes with this. I'm sure if I had, you know, come down the line, I could have found other colors that I thought were particularly nice to go with this month. This is really an easy month to pair. If you're really more into like the blues and the greens, you very easily can draw those out. If you're more into like the pinks and the blues, like I am, you can find something there. But if you're more into the warm tones and the more spring palette, you know, there's nothing stopping you from bringing in more of the yellows and oranges to give this the balance to your taste. I love variegateds like this where there's so many colors because this gives you so many different options that you can work with. I mean, you could easily, if I had, well, I could use this yellow. If I took these 3 and did an alternating stripe pattern where we went candy, Yarnable, blue, Yarnable, yellow, Yarnable, and created just a striping pattern using that where we like maybe went 2 stripes and then 4 stripes with these, that would give you a very high contrast, super saturated finished item, but it wouldn't create clashing. It would just be a very strong choice. It would be, you know, not subtle and neutral, but it wouldn't be, you know, hard on the eyes. We're not using contrasting colors that are, you know, oversaturated, over bright, going to draw the eye in one specific area. So having a variegated like that where you can pull multiple colors together, it also gives you an opportunity to play more with your colors and say, you know, add texture to your solid sections, but let the variegated read as a solid, or do something very solid and basic and non-textural with that. So you're actually trying to draw the eye more to the solids than you are to the variegated. So anyway, that's just where my brain was. That's what I felt like sharing today. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, fantastic day. As always, I look forward to seeing you guys real soon. Let me know what you thought of the pairings. Let me know what you thought of me pulling not from just Yarnable. I firmly believe you don't have to get 15 skeins from the same batch in order to make beautiful projects that create high je ne sais quoi. If you love a dyer and you love a dyer style, you can extend those wonderful yarns together and get more of like the artist palette when it comes to the dyer. So anyway, I will see you real soon. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think, and I will see you real soon. Bye, you guys.